Konbanwa, James des. Sometimes I get asked why I chose Japanese and how I got to be able to speak Japanese. And there's actually one story behind the answer to both questions. In 1992, when I was starting out as a freshman at Cornell University in Ithaca, New York, upstate New York, in the boondocks in the countryside, I decided as an incoming freshman that I wanted to study a second language because I had grown up speaking only English, and up until that point I had studied Latin, I had studied French, German, hadn't gotten very far with any of them, and I thought it was a great opportunity. It being Cornell. Cornell, they teach, or at least at the time, they taught 47 different languages, including Quechua, Basque, Navajo, every language you could think of. Mandarin Chinese, Cantonese Chinese, everything. So out of those, well, let me think. Right, need to explain what course exchange is. At the beginning of the year, you get a list of your courses, the basic schedule, and if you want to add any courses, you have to go to this thing called course exchange, where they hold it in this gymnasium where you can basically park large airplanes, big gymnasium, where they have tables set up all around the edges for different courses. And if you want to take a particular course, you have to line up in front of that table and get your form stamped at the front of the line. And it's a big deal to get in early, and they give out tickets with times when you're allowed to go in. So it's a big deal to get in the right line at the right time to get the courses you want. So going into that, I narrowed it down to two choices, German and Japanese. I'd be surprised if I hadn't told Chibi this story, but anyways, he's going to get a kick out of this. But I narrowed it down to two choices, German and Japanese. And I actually got on the German line first. And I got to the front of the German line, and the person at the front of the line said the only open drill section, I think it was, which is where you go head-to-head with a native speaker from day one. Actually, at least I think they did that for German as well. But anyways, the only open class was at 8 a.m., which was no big deal for me because I'd been getting up early for high school for many years. But only thing I wasn't sure about, I didn't know what time the cafeteria opened for breakfast. So I got out of line, checked the student handbook to see what time the cafeteria opened, saw that it opened at 7 o'clock, figured I'd be okay. So I got back in the German line, and when I got to the front of the line, the German line, I asked about the 8 o'clock class, and they said it was all filled up. So next, I went and got in the Japanese line. And I got to the front of the Japanese line, and first thing they did, they offered me a spot in 12 o'clock class. And I said, no, I already have a class at that period, but what about 8 o'clock in the morning? And the guy at the front of the line said, sure, and he stamped my form, which was his mistake, because the drill sections in Japanese were limited to 12 people. I was the 13th. He stamped my form even though he shouldn't have. So they accidentally put too many people in the class. I was the 13th student in that class. And because he stamped my form, they had to keep me. So to sum it all up, as for why I chose Japanese, it's because I didn't know what time the cafeteria opened for breakfast. And as for how I got to be able to speak Japanese, it's because of a clerical error. Fate's funny that way.